Okay, girls, I'm going to take a little break from Encanto, which I've been reading in the last few days, and read a version of The Little Mermaid. And you may know there are a lot of different versions of The Little Mermaid. This one, it's interesting. It features characters who are African in appearance. And see, they're African. And when you think about it, there's no reason why mermaids should be European or American. These characters are African, but they have kind of European or American names. Melody is the name of the Little Mermaid. Instead of Ariel, it's Melody. Here we go. Look at Melody and all her friends. The Little Mermaid. There's the king on the left. That must be Melody's father. Okay, here we go. Far out in the ocean and miles below the surface, two realms set divided by sea mountains. On one side of the ridge lived a powerful sea witch whose greedy heart cast a shadow over everything that tried to flourish. On the other side, the merfolk kingdom shimmered with light. There, the Sea King and his 4 daughters dwelled in an elaborate coral castle. A coral castle. The littlest princess, Melody, possessed a beautiful voice, but she was not content to sing in the choir of mermaids like her sisters. She had no interest in sitting still on a royal throne. Instead, Melody explored relics of sunken ships and invented stories about objects she'd gathered from the wreckage. Once she discovered a curious figurine that looked a bit like her, but for 2 cloth sticks where its tail should be. Okay, so it looked like her, except it had 2 cloth sticks where her tail should be. See, she's looking and says, what are those 2 things? What are those 2 in the doll? They're cloth sticks. So she's never seen legs before. She's saying, what is that? Melody often wondered about the world beyond her home. Is it true that some ships glide atop the water instead of lying splintered beneath it? She asked her sisters. And that a ball of fire burns over the land? What do you think she means when she says a ball of fire burns over the land? She's talking about the sun. She's never seen the sun. She's just heard rumors that there's a ball of fire. You and your daydreaming and silly stories, they huffed. Why concern yourself with the world above? Father forbids us to go there. Come a little bit closer for you. The king had warned his daughters to stay close to home because of the sea witch. Ooh, the sea witch. Maybe that's a sea witch on the right there, I'm not sure. Who had been cast out of the kingdom, and she would someday seek revenge. The king had declared that an ancient sea turtle act as his youngest daughter's guardian, and that she should trust this wise creature to lead her true. Okay, there's the guardian. He's an ancient sea turtle. He's supposed to watch over Melody. So, when Melody saw the turtle swimming up one day to take in air, she decided to follow him. See, a turtle has to breathe air, so she saw the turtle going up to take a breath, and she decided to follow him. The little mermaid trailed the turtle until at last she burst through the water's surface. Ah, she exclaimed, how strange it felt for half of her body to be shivering in the early morning air while her tail remained warm below. But a fiery ball rising in the sky offered comfort. As waves crashed around her, Melody saw whales breaching, flying fish, and turtles bobbing in the foam. She saw, beyond, she spotted a sliver of sand on the horizon. Moving closer, Melody saw a figure on the beach. To her astonishment, it had two stick-like legs, just like the doll she'd found. Okay, so she comes up to the surface and she sees all this wondrous stuff, a lot of sea animals also coming up to the surface, and she sees somebody on the beach. How strange. Melody was so filled with wonder that she started to sing. As her voice carried on the wind, the figure turned and waved. A friend, Melody thought with joy. A friend. See, there's the person on the beach, and she waves. Looks like it's a she. She's wearing a dress. So we have a different character that she meets. Just then, Melody felt a sharp tug on her tail. Her heart beat wildly until she was greeted sternly by the sea turtle. Although Melody longed to speak to the girl on the shore, she knew she must obey her guardian and return to her kingdom. Oh, so she wants to go talk to the girl, but the sea turtle says, Alone with her relics of the world above, Melody thought of the girl and her friendly smile. The girl could never come to the sea kingdom, of course, and Melody could never walk on the shore. Perhaps the only friends she would ever have would be those that she imagined. So she's imagining the doll as her friend. Otherwise, she can't figure out how she would ever meet a friend from the land, the kingdom of the land. Look at all these relics that she has. These are all things that she found in sea wrecks. That's where a shipwreck, where the stuff from the fish, the sea fell out of the boat. She's even got a guitar from a shipwreck. Ooh, that's an evil-looking thing. So sad, isn't it? A voice hissed. Melody was startled to see a sea snake slithering in the mire. Here you are, stuck undersea, but the sea witch can help. Melody's eyes widened at the terrifying thought. Do not fear, the sly creature persisted. The sea witch is not a monster, but a healer. A healer. Melody knew that princesses were forbidden to enter the witch's realm. It would break her father's heart to learn she'd betrayed him. And yet, who really missed her when she explored? Who listened to her stories of the spectacular world above? No one, she thought. So the little mermaid followed the snake until suddenly the current caught and pulled them toward a churning dark void. Okay, they're being pulled over to the dark side, away from the light of the merfolk kingdom. Wow, look at this. Oh my gosh. That must be the sea witch. Boy, she's a scary looking sea witch. There's snakes and the octopus. Ooh, that's scary. In the heart of the sea witch's lair, the evil creature greeted Melody with a stare that burned through the depths. You want legs, is that it? The witch croaked. Legs? Melody thought of the doll. Why, yes, I suppose. I just want a friend. Ah, a friend. Well, what do you have to offer me? The witch snapped. I can give you one of my treasures, Melody began. A compass, a rope, sea glass. You think I want your sea junk? The witch roared. No, I want your most precious gift. And we all know what that is, don't we? It's the voice. The sea witch filled a small bottle with potion. I've heard that voice of yours, so pure, so majestic, so strong, the witch rasped, holding out a seashell toward Melody's lips. "You can have legs, my child, but I will have your voice." Melody shuddered. Her voice? She wouldn't be able to talk or laugh or sing? "Come here, child," the sea witch beckoned. "Sing for me, and your legs, your friend, your dreams, all of it will be yours." Hesitating, Melody remembered the welcoming wave of the girl on the shore, the only one who seemed to care. "As you wish." Melody took the shell from the witch and began to sing her stories into it, the power of her notes rising with every breath. When she had no melody left, she passed the shell back to the sea witch, who pressed the bottle into the mermaid's hands. Okay, there she is underwater, all this stuff, bones and octopi, the sea witch. Ugh. So now what's going to happen? Okay, she's got the potion there in her hand. She's going to drink the potion, and then that will help her grow legs, I guess. But what is she not going to have? She's not going to have her voice. Whew. Once Melody had left the dark lair, she swiftly retrieved her cherished doll and escaped to the surface out of the sight of the sea turtle. As she emerged close to shore, she saw a pearly disk hanging in the sky. I don't know if that's the moon or the sun. Maybe we'll see. Hanging in the sky. That was surely one of the most beautiful things she'd ever seen. She watched tiny turtles scurrying on the sand and birds flying overhead. "This is where I want to be," she thought. Taking a deep breath, she drank the potion down. That must be Melody there. And that's her new friend. As her scales fell away, Melody found it more difficult to swim, and she drifted toward the shore. At last she felt fine sand against her skin and winced as a sharp shell cut into her foot. She was just starting to stand on wobbly legs when she heard a girl's voice. "Hello," said the smiling stranger. "It's you, isn't it, from out in the ocean?" The girl reached with a steadying hand. "I'm Zion. What's your name?" Melody tried to answer, but no sound left her lips. Instead, she smiled back, shivering as the breeze whipped through the seaweed clinging to her body. "Here, you can borrow this to keep warm," Zion offered, wrapping in her own shawl around Melody's shoulders. "Do you want to play? I'm chasing butterflies today." Chasing butterflies. That's Zion right there. And that's a seagull. The seagull's looking at this saying, what's going on here? Together, the girls spent the day chasing insects and building sandcastles. Melody wanted to explore the shore's rocky caves, and Zion wanted to splash in the ocean waves. They did both until the sun started to lower in the sky. Though Melody could not speak, the two girls felt a surprising kinship. They both had a love of creativity and adventure. "You're the best friend I've ever had," Zion confessed, and Melody's heart sang when she heard the word friend. Zion gazed intently at her now. At first, I thought you were a mermaid, but that couldn't be. Where did you come from? Why can't you speak?" Look at this pretty scene. Where did you come from? There the girls who are down there playing. And there's the town. Where did you come from, and why can't you speak? Melody retrieved the old doll that she'd brought back from the sea and showed Zion. Then she picked up a stick and began to sketch a story in the sand. Her fishtail, the doll, a girl waving, the sea witch, the seashell, and the potion. Zion gasped, "I was right. You were a mermaid." Finally, Melody illustrated the trade she had made for a human friend. Zion shook her head in disbelief. "You gave up your tail, your home, and your voice for me?" Melody nodded, and Zion threw her arms around her. I have something for you, too." There's Melody drawing in the sand. She can't speak, so she has to sort of draw pictures to communicate with her new friend Zion. Zion ran to her house and returned holding a glass jar with a strange object inside. "It was a caterpillar," Zion explained. "But it is growing wings, and very soon it will fly over land and sea. It's like magic. It reminds me of you." Did you know that, girls, that a caterpillar actually turns into a butterfly? That's hard to imagine. I bet you think that's a magic story, but it actually happens in nature. A little caterpillar can turn into a butterfly. "How extraordinary," thought Melody with wonder. "An explorer like me." "But Melody," Zion said quietly, "you should never have given up your voice for anything." So she should not have given up her voice. Remembering the bargain she had made, Melody spotted a seashell nearby, like the one that was used to cast the spell. She put it wistfully to her ears, and to her surprise, a distant echo of her own voice resonated from inside. But now the sound was witchy, wild, and frightening. That's because the sea witch has a voice now, so when she listens to it in the shell, it sounds witchy. Then a different sound called to her from within the shell. "The sea witch has risen," came the voice of the sea turtle. "Your family is in trouble. Come." Oh, the turtle is calling. "The sea witch has risen. The family's in trouble. Come." "Oh, what have I done?" Melody thought, realizing the sea witch had used the power of Melody's voice to grow in strength and strike in revenge. Now what's she going to do? Though Melody had no voice, she could still cry tears. She knew that to return would mean she would never walk on land again and perhaps would lose her only friend. She passed the shell to Zion, who heard the warning and the summons. "I understand you must leave," Zion said sadly, "but I'll always be your friend." Look, Melody's crying. "I'll always be your friend." So this is what happens. Wow, look at these pictures. There's the sea turtle. Melody drew a long breath, dove deep, and kicked furiously as she followed the sea witch's screeches toward the battle. Her sisters cried out to her, "Father's strength is useless against this dark power." Melody watched in horror as the witch wrapped fat tentacles around the king's throat. Melody felt utterly helpless until she spotted the seashell that had cursed her hanging around the witch's neck. In the next moment, her guardian, the turtle, snapped the necklace free with his jaws. Melody snatched the floating shell, and she felt the power of her own voice rising again. Oh, look at the battle. The turtle's helping her to get the magic shell, and now Melody's going to get her voice back from the shell. Oh, see, there's the turtle. Oh, that's an ugly sea witch. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Snapping the necklace. She shouted with a strength she never knew she had, "No!" See, there's a sea witch strangling the father, and Melody gets her voice back, her commanding voice that has magic, and she says, "No!" The witch covered its ears as if in terrible pain. Tumbling and writhing, it drifted down, 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 landing with one last gasp on the sharp, brittle coral the witch had sucked the life from long ago. The spell was broken. Melody had found her true voice, a voice that no witch could imprison or silence. The little mermaid could breathe again, and when she tried to kick her legs, she felt her tail flip. She opened her mouth, and such a beautiful song came out that the coral sprang back to life and the sea snakes slithered far away. And at the shore, Zion smiled as the stormy waters became calm once again. Her friend was safe. There she is. The stormy waters are calm, and Zion is safe on the shore. And she's got the shell that had her voice in it. Look at everybody's happy. Now, Melody's family listened eagerly as she told them about the world of people, sand, trees, and things that fly. The Sea King knew that he could not contain the adventurous spirit of his littlest mermaid. Zion visited the shore when her treasures in the glass jar was fully transformed and released the butterfly for Melody. Okay, so the caterpillar turned into a butterfly. Zion released it for Melody. It soared over the sea with its message of change and hope. And far out in the ocean and miles below the surface, the merfolk dwelled in a kingdom of light. Everybody's happy. The end. And there she is. There's Zion. Now the caterpillar has turned into a butterfly, and she releases the butterfly. That's the end of the book, and I like that little mermaid story. That was a good one. I'll see if I can find another one like that. But that's all for now, girls. Bye-bye.